morning, everyone. Aloha. It's March 11, 2024. Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Schwartz, your host here at the Neutral Zone, MauiNeutralZone.com. We are KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui. We are also seen in a simulcast on Akaku Maui Community Media, Channel 55 on cable. You can find this show and all our shows at MauiNeutralZone.com, and they all live on YouTube, so you can go up there and just search Maui, Jason Schwartz, Neutral, any of our guests. You'll find our shows. Well, welcome today. Today, at the moment, we have a guest that may be coming here in a little while, but that's a whole story. My guest for the day was going to be Councilman Gabe Johnson from the Lanai seat. And Friday, they told me there are all kinds of meetings and special meetings, which we can imagine. And so I'm going to do another show later today at 3 o'clock. Welcome. Sit down and enjoy yourself. With 3 o'clock, we have a show with Gabe Johnson. And my guest is settling in. Welcome to the place here. Once you're set in, I'll turn on your mic. I don't think you need your headphones even. Move over, if you will, a little that way and get the mic in front of you, and you got there. You know, this is like, what's my line? Who is this mystery guest? Scott Metcalfe, Scooter. Which do you prefer to hear?
Well,
Put your mic in front there. Right, there you are. Perfect. There you are. Great.
My full name is Scott Thomas Metcalfe.
Which would you prefer me
but,
call?
My sophomoric nickname is Scooter, and it's a little bit common in our society for Richard to become Dick or William to become Bill and Scott to become Scooter, especially if you're smaller. I'm only 5'8", 150 pounds. So.
Yeah. Wow, 5'8".
Yeah.
Well, I'm an inch taller than you. How can I be 50 pounds more than you? My God. Holy mackerel.
I was a competitive ultra-marathon runner, and I scooted. You know, when you run 103 miles in 24 hours on a track, you have to scoot. You don't just run all out the whole way. So
100 miles in what? Say that slower.
I did 103 miles, 1,867 yards in 24 hours.
Get a little bit closer if you. Only that way you won't have that. You're about that distance.
On a track, and it was the national championships at the time.
You can move the mic closer. You don't have to lean in. Whatever's good.
In Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. But
Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Yeah. That sounds like cheese.
Oh yeah, it's cheese country.
Fondue, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I went to graduate school at the beautiful land-grant college, the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Yeah.
So what finds you in here? I'm going to tell our guests. I'm going to give you the secret. I met Scott at Life when his brother was, a few years ago, running for county council. And in that process, I got to see that there were not only Jerome, Tiger, how do you get Tiger out of Jerome, but Metcalfe, and not only Chad, but there was a third brother named Scooter. And there you are, it came up, and over the years, I met you, and I saw that you were very active, and then suddenly I didn't see you, and then suddenly I saw you again, you were brighter than ever, and that's the guy that I see now. You had an unfortunate accident, and didn't want to give up the things that you loved in your life, and so you said, how can I take that mountain and either not see it, but let me not lower my sights, let me bring myself up to a new level. You sent me a couple of photos. Why don't you tell our audience in detail what's going on, because to me it's really exciting.
Segue here, Jason's a great community player on this beautiful island of terra firma, and I meet him because we are thespians in our own right. We appreciate the arts. Jason's quite a singer. I'm not, but we just met recently at Pro Arts for the Gutsy Women.
Wasn't that great?
It was beyond poignant, and to reveal their vulnerability was really a privilege for us to be in that audience Saturday night. But I'm here because I am heading to Byron Bay in Australia to be a part of quite the movement, and it's a movement of athleticism for disabled individuals. And my bailiwick, if you will, Jason, is recreational inclusion for disabled individuals. And there's 3 others on this island. Joshy Bogle, he's a bilateral amputee surfer. This is all about surfing. We're going to the Adaptive Surfing World Championship. It's the 3rd season. It's my 2nd season. There's money involved. They pay out for the top 4 spots. We got $25,000 more for 5 events around the world, and I'll go over those, which ones they are. But the first one is Byron Bay, which is revered as the Honolulu Bay of Australia. And it's a hip area. It's kind of a developed Honolulu Bay, with condos and businesses and stuff. And I'm even going to a musician, Xavier Rudd, who's the Jack Johnson, if you will, of Australia, that genre of music. But this is quite a movement. It's going to become an Olympic sport, para-Olympic sport. It's not quite there yet, whereas mainstream surfing is now acknowledged as an Olympic sport with the John Florences of the world, and some people might have heard of Kelly Slater. He's not on the Olympic team, but he might be the Olympic coach. But so there's this movement, and these pools now have been up to like around $55,000, and not only does the winner get paid out at each of the 5 events, but all the way down to 4th place. And I just got edged out of 5th place at the finals in Oceanside, California. That was last year, and I think I just performed above my grade level because it was my birthday, September 10th, and I got to surf on my birthday in this gentrified surf town, this new, cleaner surf town, Oceanside, California. So, but
what did they clean up? They cleaned up the whole area?
It was a very military town, very dirty. There's a lot of vice, and it's you'll love this. They hired the town council hired an ambassador of Aloha. And her job title is Ambassador of Aloha, and this woman almost single-handedly redid the town of Oceanside, and they have an art night, and they close off the streets, and they do, for an economic stimulation, they do world food and music, That's fun. Every week of the year. And then it's Surf City, Huntington used to be revered as Surf City, but it's more now Oceanside, California.
Well, pretty close. Yeah. That's an interesting area because I was in L.A., but we used to go down that way in Oceanside, Dana Point, Huntington Beach. So I'm glad. That's really good. This is when that was last September. Was that part of this?
There's
event?
Even a surf glider Amtrak that goes to Union Station in L.A. $8.88 for a elderly, So it's really they've really fully, there's brew pubs and all that, and but really, that's not why I'm here. It's about I have a website, aloharecreation.org, and there's some other really, really key players on this island, like Coach Jennifer Gladwin. She's about recreational inclusion and for disabled / adaptive is the new catchword.
Say it one more time.
Adaptive.
No, but I mean the whole.
Adaptive / disabled individuals, and we're trying to get them involved in recreation. So even the wheelchair bound person that's more obese and diabetic maybe, and they tend to get the worst case scenarios. The podiatrists start at their toes and start amputating there because of the lack of circulation. Diabetes just is a killer. But we want to get them, whether it's tossing a bocce ball in a wheelchair at Cam 3, the Great Lawn there, or getting them. We want to get them in the water, and it helps their range of motion. And everybody's entitled to recreation, Jason. And albeit most of us should do more of it because it's a great cost on our health system to be out of shape and ill, and that illness can lead to permanent disability. Yeah, there's huge statistics like 14% or 14 to 20% of people in the United States are disabled.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's right up there.
Oh, that's outrageous.
Yeah.
Disabled meaning they have some compromise to them being able to just do normal activity.
Mm-hmm. Beyond an illness of a bacterial or a viral infection, it's like...
So it doesn't have to be an extreme. This is just any kind of disability.
Right.
20%.
I've got my iPhone in front of me, and so I am heading to the Blackmore's Australian Pro Adaptive Surfing Championships,
So
Byron Bay.
That's
Blackmore is a great company, and they do like vitamins and things like that. It's
in Australia.
In Australia, yeah. But they're a multinational corporation, Yeah. And then we have a parade of nations, and I'm very tempted to parade not with a Hawaiian flag, but with a sovereignty flag, because that's my politics. I believe in Hawaiian sovereignty.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's a Parade of Nations street parade that we go to Sunday, the 17th of March at 3 p.m. And there's going to be 30 nations represented. And there's categories, there's divisions. There's a standing one, which is upper limb disabilities. Some of them are congenital birth defects. Some of them are amputations. I'll go down. Standing 2 is below knee. I'm BKA. I'm below knee amputee, and I actually stand on the board and surf like people envision people surfing. But not all of these divisions, they can do that. For example, there's above knee. Most of the, actually all the above knee except my friend Captain Colin Cook of Haleiwa, all the above knee amputees, they are on their board because they have no legs below their groin area. So they're down on their boards, and and most of them are pretty buffed and athletic, and they can paddle in. But say the next division, any kneeling, AKK, is they need, you're going to love these terms, a pusher and a receiver. So out in the lineup, in the surf break, there's a pusher that grabs the person that is surfing, and they push them into the wave. And then that individual can catch a rail and lean right, lean left to make turns and cutbacks and stuff. It's incredible. I sent you a video too, and I hope you had a chance to.
In fact, when I was thinking, is this guy kneeling? And that was something.
So then there's sit wave ski, which is more what we see like out at the cove in Kihei, as a person has a kayak paddle and they're sitting on top of a kayak, or a wave ski is actually a brand.
I wonder how they rate their performance. How do they?
Well, there's judges, and it's a model. The template is modeled after the WSL, which is an acronym for the World Surf League, which is going on right now in Portugal. It's like the third leg. So the timing is impeccable for me to go to Byron Bay because I'm going to stay a month, and I'm going to go to a World Surf League event, and I'm going to be there for like the Super Bowl for these. They're the greatest athletes, one could argue, in the world. Kelly Slater's 52 years old. He's got like 12 world championships and umpteen national championships. This guy's 52 years old, and he's a uber competitive World Surf League surfer. One could argue, I've heard it argue that he's a better athlete than Michael Jordan. because he has to be an endurance athlete to do the whole tour. He has to be an incredible swimmer. The guy's a scratch golfer on the side. So these are
He's
just...
a golfer.
He's a scratch golfer, which is a term for is he can shoot par at any course in the world. Yeah. So you know how hard that is? And how hard it is to get on a surfboard?
Just anyway.
Yeah.
But here you are.
Yeah.
Compromise. Holy mackerel.
But and I'll just finish up the 13 categories. Unassisted prone, where they're just doing it all themselves. They can paddle into the wave and they can catch the wave. And they're prone, which is on their tummy. And then there's prone assist, which I alluded to. There's a blind, no vision, BNV. And then my buddy Aaron Paltz, I'm going to shout out to him. He's a current world champion. He's from Maui. His place at Puamana got burnt. And Aaron Paltz, blind vision division, to be redundant, impaired. And he is our current world champion. He's from Maui. We have Joshi Bogle, who I believe is currently ranked 4th. I'm around 5th or 6th or whatever, down in there. And then there's Sean Lewis. Bigfoot is his nickname. He's a Cali boy transplant to Lahaina, and he was very, very affected by the fires. But these are brothers, and I really care about these people, and we'll all be in Las Vegas. There is a little bit of funding. There's grants through certain organizations like the High Five Foundation, which is diverse, and they do skiing, and I thought it was really cool. I'm not much of a motorhead, but they have outreach for disabled individuals, let's just say it, amputees, to get on dirt bikes that are adapted scientifically, and dune buggies, and they have places in California and in this the desert, like Anza Borrego Desert, that they can take them. And I'm going to sign up for one of those. And I am a lifelong skier. I made my living skiing, Jason. I worked 2 Winter Olympics as a professional ski patroller. Wow. So there are those opportunities now with these grant programs. I personally, a shout out to Surf Gimp Foundation. I'm receiving a grant, and instead of talking about it, they sent the check. It's in the account, for me to go to a place like Byron Bay, Australia, which people can understand. There's expenses involved. You got to have your surf equipment. You can't just show up with one board. You got to have a toolkit, because if there's crappy conditions, you want to at least be able to catch a wave and get points. There's a judging system. And so it's really a crafty and very, very uber competitive situation I've got myself into. And this is after competing in whitewater and skiing. And I played baseball for money in southern France for Les Avignon Dodgers, which is a whole other story. So
Avignon Dodgers?
Yeah. So I'm quite an athlete formally, and I'm starting to talk too fast here, and I should include you massively in this conversation. But you can imagine what you go through when you have the trauma. For me, specifically, I crushed my lower leg, my tibia and my fibula, and I rolled a vehicle. And I theoretically should not be here right now, because I coulda, woulda, shoulda, but didn't die that day. Had the 2-ton vehicle been any closer to my brain, we quite possibly wouldn't be having this conversation, But wow, we just covered a lot of ground there.
Yeah. So. Well, I was just going to say, just to be here, to be a competitor in something like this, and all the things you're talking about, you have overcome. People that don't have challenges, I've never had a challenge that great. It's hard for me to imagine overcoming that and just living, quote, a normal life or whatever. But to also then renew your strength and get involved back in your own sport and have to kind of reset all your markers and in your life. Give us a little feeling for that process if it's comfortable.
Well, I wanted to just kind of tell a little story, because when you go through something like that type of trauma, you become compartmentalized and very internalized, and you become a hermit. And you know me, and I'm going to make you laugh. I'm a chatty Susan. I mean, I love people. I love life. And this is an unintended segue to Imua physical therapy. But boy, you know, I walked past my Kumu's handprints and footprints out the door of Akaku Plaza here, and Keli'i Tawa, and rest in peace. He's deceased, but a person like that helped me to remain motivated with the terms, the words in Hawaiian, I mua, I, and then separate word MUA. It's not just a physical therapy company. It means to strive and go forward. And I have adopted that credo, that mantra, to be non-gender specific mantram in my world. And you do things like start passage meditation and join a satsang, which is a like-minded group of the same ilk and politics and movement, and you take a passage and you recite it over and over to get you more grounded. You come to interviews and take off your olakai shorts, and you feel the earth. If you look around to the real Kanaka Maoli musicians in the state and in the world, they're up on stage barefoot, and it's about grounding. And our whole world, not just disabled individuals, need to learn more about grounding. We need, in this chaotic Kiano Scotzi, I believe that's a Hopi Anastasi word for life out of balance.
I remember that movie.
Fubar, Kapakai, let's call it what it is. You know, we got a connection going on, and you know, the white elephant that would never be allowed in this room is Donald Trump, and we can't behave in that manner because it's unacceptable behavior. It's not humane. It's not civil. You know. So again, I covered a lot of ground there, but in Mua, I go forward daily, and it's tough. Sometimes I want to sleep in. Sometimes I don't want to get out in the surf and stuff. And can you imagine that? Not want to, you know? Oh my God, getting in the ocean is a privilege, and you know, I sound like a spokesperson for the earth too. I mean,
well, you know, you're a spokesperson.
Malama Aina Ike Kai.
Together again.
Yeah.
And stood strong and moved forward. That's beautiful. That's a great thing for all of us to realize. No matter, many of people are disabled because they don't adopt that kind of an attitude.
And it is as small, everyone, Jason, as you, when you go to some corporate box store like Walmart or Costco and jockeying for position as close as possible. No, park away and walk, and then don't step over that plastic teeth cleaner on the asphalt, or that diaper, or that cigarette butt. People don't understand. I'll get so detailed out. I'm a professional Opala trash picker-upper. I have single-handedly helped clean up this island as a ranger, national park service at Haleakala, Kipahulu district. And you know how many Heineken caps I've picked up in my life, and how many bread ties, and then post-pandemic and during the discarded mass. But we need to pick up the garbage beyond just ours. You know, don't step over it in the parking lot. We need to go to the beach park like we did Saturday at Haycraft and Sugar Beach, and do a beach cleanup. And you know, thank you, you know, Bisson administration for providing things like pragmatic things like gloves and plastic bags, you know. And I've adopted this huge mentality in my little world. I'm an invited guest here. It's a privilege to be on this beautiful island, and I adopted the phrase "e malama." Ike, you know, care and respect of the ocean, Ame, Aina, and the land. And it's important to me. Another segue is to, you know, don't bring the mainland to this beautiful Polynesian situation we have going on here. Let's
I mean, don't bring that attitude.
right. And
but you can still
we're
tell.
in an amazing culture, so when in Rome, let's olelo Hawaii. Let's speak Hawaiian, attempt to, and let's learn more about when you're driving on the street and it says pu'u wahine, that's a street, and a pu'u is a cone, a volcano, and a mountain. There's a cone that dominates South Maui, Makena, that I would say 99% of the people don't even know what the name of it is. And we're looking at it every day, and it's called Pu'u Ola'i. It's O-L-A, Okina-I, and it means Red Hill. It's that Red Hill. It's Little Beach that we and a bunch of us have practiced our peaceful gathering at Little Beach on Sundays. So now people, hopefully that tune into your broadcast here, have learned one thing from this conversation.
All over the world. They're
all over the world.
I'm here with Scott Metcalfe, who is, I don't know how to describe you, but he's going to the Adaptive Surfing Championships in Byron Bay from Maui, representing Maui and representing all the people in the world that have had a compromise in their physical integrity, that make up for it by their determination and hard work.
Imua.
That's right.
Go forward.
That first burst, did you have support as this terrible event happened? What brought it together? Was it? I
had incredible support. You really find out who your friends are, and we even started this. It was on the cusp. There really wasn't much Facebook Live going on, but I keep wanting to say my hotel room, but in my hospital room in Maui Memorial Hospital. Shout out to them and the nurses and the adjunct staff there and the doctors, Dr. Ayers, Dr. Smith. They were amazing support. And then my friends came out of the woodwork, and a lot of us are members of tribes, and we don't, maybe that word isn't in your lexicon yet, but my tribes came out, the people that I surf with, that I stand up paddleboard. I'm a scuba diver. I'm in Maui Mantas, this scuba diving hui, and they came out of the woodwork. Musicians like Scotty Baird and Von Razzo and Anthony Fluke. Every Thursday, as the Portuguese say, we would have a Kani Kapila in my not hotel room, in my hospital room, overlooking Kahului Harbor. So you can see I'm gleaming. Just that gave me so much hope that for 45 days I had my own room, penthouse in Maui Memorial. Got a lot of grief and a lot of negativity. I say bunk to that. It was world-class care. And my best friend from kindergarten, Dr. Jeff Jensen, he's a Royal Academy of Surgeons. That's the Surgery Hall of Fame. Elected surgeon. He jet-set it in from Phoenix, where he's a dean of students at Midwestern University of Podiatric Medicine. Jetted in for me. And, and he was my patient care advocate. And I was like, Jeff, should I demand they fly me to Cedars-Sinai in L.A. or Stanford or Harborview in Seattle, or at minimum Queens? He said, Scott, I have never seen the caliber of healthcare that you're getting right now. Stay here. Stay put.
Wow, that's something to say.
Yeah. So it saved a lot of insurance companies and et cetera, and that bureaucracy, a lot of extra monies and stuff. And that's not the point of this. The point is I have a support network that really got me through. I was dating at the time just an amazing person, Jane Franco. She's a CPA and an accountant here, and she was a trooper, and she was there when I first surfed, again, at Haycraft, that Broken Pipes there, that area. There's a little surf there. Yeah.
Let me break in, because, when you talk about all this, the thing that I was going to talk about today, you probably have some thoughts about. I didn't realize your how much you were already tied to and aware of the Hawaiian culture. What do you think of this? Talk about doing things. Olowalu, they picked it as a temporary toxic dump site, and a lot of the people say, well, there are two major water streams coming out of the mountains, and now putting something that could potentially destroy the watershed there. Did you ever surf the Olowalu area?
Absolutely. There's Thousand Peaks. There's Ukamahami nearby. We've caught some, like, just with sponging. It's just using a bodyboard at that landing across from the Yodas.
You drive out to the west, how does the surfing area match up with the area where they're putting all this stuff?
Well, the area where they're putting it is more toward, like, the recycling that we're all aware of. That was
Right.
Mauka, and but you know what? I went and celebrated New Year's there with a gaggle of homespun former, like, lifeguards. I'm a former County of Maui lifeguard, and watermen and stuff. And we took over Camp Olowalu, and I'm telling you, Jason, I scoured about every square centimeter of that reef system there. That everyone not in the know was complaining, oh, it's going to get ruined because of these toxins. I would have to debunk that. That's a myth. The whole area is dead prior to the Lahaina fires. That reef system has been destroyed by sediment and runoff prior, and like, probably Monsanto bear type stuff. Maybe not this far. That's more Sugar Beach, but. So I had to see it for myself, and we took stand-up paddle boards with mast fins and snorkel, and we scoured, and it's all bashed out and dead and destroyed, the coral there. So it's a myth that they were going to transport these toxins from Lahaina town proper and put them up Mauka, and then the rain would hit that, and those toxins would leach and seep into.
Well, that's possible.
And I don't have all the answers, but I'm a raging environmentalist.
No, but what's interesting is what you said is we have already seen.
We destroyed that already.
Decimation of that reef already.
Yeah.
So if you were Hawaiian, you'd already be saying, what's going on in our waters. The reason I brought it up is, I don't really understand why we can't get dialogue. I mean, the Hawaiian sentiment that was a sacred area, a pu'uhonua in Maui, when King Kamehameha had his, his castle there in Lahaina, but the place of refuge was Olowalu. Well, Olowalu has now sort of been forgotten. I hope they'll stop making it worse by continuing to put things there until they get the central Maui situation. I guess the reason I brought it up is it's this issue of Olowalu. I've been around and environmentally responsible and aware for a lot of years, more than I can go into. But why they don't just box it up and contain it, no matter what choice they do. And the fact that they would consider an area, it's close to the existing dump, that they shouldn't have done that one either. But the fact that one got approved, I'm concerned now that because it's already been told that we have the central Maui landfill area and land, which hasn't yet been completed, but that they're going to continue bringing things to Olowalu. They should at least stop. The things that maybe they won't destroy the reef in the ways that you're talking about physically, but that's a spawning ground for a lot of marine life. That
I was going to respectfully interrupt and say that is, like, some people can correct me, but I'll just say a very important breeding ground for manta rays, and I would say I'm almost sure it's fact that it's the second most important manta ray breeding ground in the state of Hawaii. So, and then, Jason, what I don't have the answers for is that I believe it's dangerous to transport toxins that distance because of the wind belts they're going to go through. There's wind belts like at Maui, obviously the second windiest harbor in the world, Wellington, New Zealand being the windiest. And there's a little band right by that Lahaina Poly Trail trailhead at Grandma's, which is a sneaky surf break, kind of a slow roller out just west of the Poly, Lahaina side of the Poly. And I think when you're transporting toxins those distances, you better have your act together with covering it when it's in the 18-wheelers. And I'm thinking about the pragmatics of this situation, like the details.
Well, we hear, I'm almost don't want to go into those areas with you because, they get to the point of absurd and be off our subject.
Absurd and obnoxious and maybe arrogant of two.
But I just was curious what the surf community,
white males like you and I to be discussing it. But you and I care, malama aina, ame kai, care and respect of the land and the ocean. And with this program, I will never step on the toes of people that know more than you and I know about this subject. And, I believe in the Archikalepas and of the world and the leaders that were organized in Lahaina. And I believe personally that it is in the best interest to really think in a recreational and utilitarian sense of, I think there should be a recreational path around commemorating the perimeter of the burn in Lahaina town. I believe that Lele should be the focal point of the vision of building and rebuilding Lahaina town.
And Lele meaning?
It's the origin of where the king and queen, the Ali'i, lived inland from 505 Front Street, which is they wouldn't be removing any houses or anything there because it was reserved. It was tennis courts and ball fields, And I think, being a surfer, that we need to, I'm pounding my fist on the desk, we need to glorify and make our surf breaks sacred, and we need to fill the potholes, and we need to have stewards assigned to each and every beach park on the planet. But how about Maui to start? And because we're shooting the foot that feeds us if we don't take care of the beach parks on Maui. People come to Maui because Maui no ka'oi, Maui's the best, but because there's gentle surf breaks if you're not a peahi surfer, which is less than like 1% of one in the world that
What's
can
surf. Peahi surfer?
Peahi is Jaws, the big wave in near Huelo, that is on the world big wave surf. It's the foundation of the World Big Wave Surf Championships, that and Nazaré in Portugal. But again, I'm getting off the subject matter here. There's people that know way more about Oluwalo than you and I, but you and I are like, don't poop on the hand that feeds you. And how about let's show some respect, malama aina. That's the only Mother Earth, theoretically, if you don't believe in reincarnation.
No, I think a lot of people that are doing things in government, I really believe, want to do the right thing, but the system, I was talking to a guest last week, the bureaucracy levels, why is appointed people doing something and that the ones that are in power have to follow, and the people that are being appointed are not being specific. You gave very specific things that made this unique to stop some of the decisions that were made as if this was, that's the rule of how we do it across the country. We're in an island community where, like you say, we're going to destroy even further the beaches and what's going on here. Isn't there another way? Containerization. I'm just bringing that word up every time when I feel like, why do I keep saying that? Because whatever you do with ash, put it in a box. Then you'll deal with it wherever, whenever. Why are they not at site containing this stuff? I appreciate they don't know where to put it finally or exactly how to deal with it. I don't want to get too presumptuous, but there are a lot of people that know how to deal with this and get rid of it 100%. But somehow it hasn't worked out with the powers that be. I really believe they try, but if you were a Bisson, you were a judge your whole life, and you were part of a system, how could you not acknowledge the EPA when they are a part of the system already? How can you suddenly deny it when that's been your whole life pattern for 30, 40 years already? And so it's this level of stuff that is out of our control. I'm hoping we can grip this control and stop some of these things for local so that we can still have surf spots here, like you say, for people that are...
Jason, I want to make you laugh again, because the name of my article, if I had a forum like this, would be entitled "Don't Get Me Started." Because, the very thought of non-Kanaka Maoli people dictating decisions and stuff is a bit offensive to me, and is one thing, but it's great that you have a forum to just start producing. I gotta support Rick, because he's the only politician I've ever had invite me and sit down and talk, not for 5 minutes, not lip service. We talked at the new Department of Motor Vehicles just like a month and a half ago, and they were talk stories, and he showed up, and it was for 3 hours. I sat this close to him. I sat a foot away from him. He looked me in the eyes, and I care about people like that are at least making an attempt. I don't have all the answers, and there'll be some fallout from supporting our mayor, but I bunk that. I want to support people that are at least attempting to have dialogue.
Well, you said something that I thought was important. Number one, I'm glad you got up close to see the mayor. I've called so many times, and I keep getting different assistants, and I haven't been able to see him. I was able to see him before the election, and it was challenging then. I appreciate, but I'm concerned. I'm very concerned.
I've never met a politician that's more available to his constituents and non-constituents.
Oh, that's good. That's not been my experience, but I'm not concerned about that. I appreciate that he's out there with people, but this situation with the toxins and the fact that no matter where you are, someone has to say, put it in a container. Put them in containers. What are you doing with them? Why are you transporting it with temporary little containers and then dumping it and mixing it with dirt? I keep thinking that he's not aware, especially if you're feeling like he's a real go-getter and going to get out there and solve the problems. Somehow information isn't getting through, or decisions are being made that he feels he can't change. So I don't have any challenge with who Rick Bisson is as a mayor. I don't know enough to know, but I do know that I don't feel that openness, and I wish that I could feel it, because the subject like this one of Olowalu, I'm kind of getting tired of talking about Olowalu, but I think it's important enough that we go to the end, which is, okay, now we got this stuff, we got a place you're going to bring it next. Let's get it out of Olowalu somehow. Like you said, it's all the carting it to Central Maui. That was a lot now. Now they triple the amount of material have to bring it there. And it's never been boxed. If it's boxed, you could be sending them off island at any rate you want, or processing them and turning them into building materials. There literally are so many things that haven't been seen. And the mayor, maybe he is looking, and maybe he doesn't want to look because it's not his decision. I don't know. But I'm glad that you had that kind of...
He cares, and his wife,
sure.
Isabella, I believe, is have been nothing but kind and compassionate. And every situation that I've showed up at, like the Veterans Wall, they've been there First People, and
No, that's,
you know,
that's wonderful.
And it's,
I have nothing about that. I only have the concern of that.
Matthew Thayer captured the most beautiful photo of. We just did a scrum of the mayor and his wife, and it was just timing on my part, and we just hugged each other, and we cried. It was the memorial at Maui College for Lahaina, and with the dean speaking, and the people, to just feel people's hearts, you know, that day, and I mean, it's just so sad what occurred, and we cannot succumb to Lahaina fire fatigue. We need to stay and continue to help and continue to support, you know, myself and you. You know, there is room for us, and you're doing your part with discussion in an online forum.
And this is not an attack. It's a we need more eyes.
I just say we're all in this together, and,
right.
and pick up your own trash. Start with your place first and your car first. And I'm going to segue. What really irks me is all this volunteerism. I think these should be paid positions, and I believe we should form, I presented this to Mr. Bisson, that we should have an aloha committee, and that's an acronym for attentive for the environment, and go right down, and that going right from the airport, Jason, we should have a team of an 18-wheeler tow truck for all the abandoned vehicles. Just drive the highways here and start from the airport, and then have a team, however we design it, with a budget of park caretakers and a tow truck agency that you take the proper bid and all that bureaucracy, and people that can pick up the vacated laundry machines and that are visual. I don't want to clean it up for the tourists. I want to clean it up for the people that live on Maui.
But you brought a key thing up that
start at the airport and work your way.
The budget. You know, I mean, there's so many problems that I think.
But force retirement from the top down, you know, and do the numbers that way.
Well, here's one that always amazed me.
Get more
Someone
boots
from
on
the
the
Parks
ground.
Department, the head of the Parks Department said, we in park rangers, we don't have those anymore, but we have a need of 14 more people in the department. 14. We have 14 openings, and the police department have 25% openings, and we have need in the Hale Makua. They have a whole wing, 16 beds, but they don't have the budget to be able to hire the people to support it. So a lot of this has been a money challenge. You know, when we get money from people coming in like Bezos, $250 million, whatever kind of number.
And you and I are scratching our heads. Well, where did the $10 million go? Let's track it.
Well, you know? I'm just talking about somehow, you know, we need to find some kind of way to be able to encourage those that do have to put more into some of these services that we need.
How about first tax to billionaires and people making over $400,000 a year, and churches? You know, we'll get some money real quick that way.
Well, but you know, and that's an interesting story, because the other piece is, on an island, if you say food, what are the most important things we need? We need shelter. We need food. What else do we need?
So we see people buying Mexican avocados at Costco.
That favors
Jason.
people that live here.
Buying Mexican avocados at Costco.
Isn't that strange?
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm being major league facetious. That's
course.
Unacceptable behavior. You know, in every parking lot, on every boulevard of every road, starting on this island, we should be growing food. And if it falls on the ground, let whoever is nearby grab it.
Well, but even to plant those, there needs to be money and people doing it. You know, we fall short of being perfect, and many times it's not because we don't want to be perfect. I'm sure that Rick
starts with us,
wants
Jason.
to do the right thing.
For example, I just finished a 22-day cleanse and detoxification through Dr. Malik Cotter, and who's I would say the only true guru on this island. I
Well,
use that word sparingly.
I think the word "only" is the only piece I would have challenge with.
Fair
Well,
enough.
I would say that he's
this guy
one
knows
of them.
about nutritional
I
science.
know Malik for years. I got you. He is a
And
wizard.
I studied it. And he's saving the entire system money because of having people more healthy and less appearances at the hospital and the doctor by adopting a high alkaline diet of avoiding white sugar like the plague, and cancer is caused by hypoxia, lack of proper oxygenation, and acidity, having a low pH level below like 7.35 instead of high alkaline, which wards off cancer. That is such a quick vision of nutrition. But eat beautiful, purple, colorful fruits and vegetables, and go for a walk, and gut health. Drink warm lemon water to start your day after you've done your gratitude toward what's in front of your day for that day.
Would it be fair to say that you've adopted all these things after your accident, or were they already part of your life?
No, I was studying nutritional science and food science at university level.
So you already were
yeah.
a sharper than average person.
But
so
I'm a hypocrite, I
No,
would
of
go
course.
grind some burritos or whatever, and it's one thing that I really like.
Grind some burritos is translated into eat them.
What I really liked about the cleanse and detox is, there are like amazing people in there. Fred Haywood, he was once the speed record holder for windsurfing, and these people, and Aaron Moose, from Crank Cycles, like really community players that like finally saw the light, and there's like, I'm going to take care of my body here, and so it was monumental, but it all starts, the bigger picture is with us, and then it's not too late to help the victims of Lahaina. It's not too late to help Maui, and it's not too late to pound the pavement and vote for democracy over autocracy,
Put that in English. Democracy.
Trump is an unelectable non-politician, and he's a part of the problem, not the solution. And no one in their right mind would campaign and advocate to elect a career politician like Joe Biden. But my God, he's come through. At least he's a fair person, and he appears to be kind and compassionate in the most bureaucratic sense. But you and I would have to be more organized, and from the grassroots level, ground up, organize better and plan ahead. Both the Republicans and the Democrats had 4, 8, how about 200 years to get a better politicians in that we should be voting for. And how RFK got so put on the stink eye list is beyond me. But I'm not gonna campaign for any of those, especially, my God, Donald Trump is an insult to our intelligence.
So even someone sitting on the sidelines and not wanting to do anything can't help but notice him. I don't really know how
they can vote, and they can organize their friends and just say, hey, vote with your conscience, and vote for what is right, what is pono, malama pono.
My biggest challenge in this upcoming election is the fact that neither of the two biggies are anyone I'd even really vote for, but the people that are in third-party candidates' seats are going to disrupt the bigger picture, and we could end up with a problem. That's
figure out how
to do.
The smear campaign against Hillary Clinton and
No, I'm talking about
Russia.
An RFK is independent, or
but I'm saying, wasn't Ralph Nader involved in a reason why Donald Trump? I might be outdating myself. That might not be contemporaries, but the world is strange, and the world is very, very racist, and Americans are very, very racist, and we got to get over that. It's one family. Just go to a reggae concert. even white males that are rhythmically challenged can sway and listen to the music.
I'm going to stop you because you can see, right?
Yeah.
What does that clock say?
1:47.
That means we have less than 2 minutes to go.
I'm going to let you tidy this all up, and what an honor to be here. I respect you, and I really care about what you do for this island, and offer a forum for people, and even people not of your right politics and your right mind, because we can talk.
Zone. We can talk.
Yeah.
And they say, it's like a Ho'oponopono show. Yeah. We're here to bring up all ideas in a safe and comfortable kind of a place, you know. And then the whole world will be able to see it, because we're in a different time, and people see this show. There's Auntie Doll, one of our kumulas. Right. Someone in New Zealand saw our show and came to Maui and searched out and got to Auntie Doll's door.
That's a beautiful story.
And is now living with Auntie Doll, has brought her into different kind of circles all over the world. So our show gets around. So I'm hoping that people all over will see this show, and you're welcome to share it with people all over the world. And
I will.
What you've said is super important.
I don't have all the answers. You and I don't have all the answers, but we can present opinions, you know.
Well, now we only have 20 seconds left, so we're going to present the next time. I hope you'll come back to our show.
I'll give you a report of how the Maui contingent did in Byron Bay.
Good, good, good. Now, if I can see, I'll put the credits on. And if I can't see, we won't. There we go.
Well, you got 10 seconds.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you next week. We'll do Gabe Johnson later. We love you. Aloha.
Aloha. Malama pono. Ahui ho.